Hey everybody, welcome to Lessons with Troy. Well, today I want to talk about playing with dynamics and touch sensitivity on amps, be it if you're like me and you might have a digital version of a tube amp, or if you actually have a tube amp, a lot of times you can have it set just one setting to where the harder you play, the more the amp breaks up, meaning it kind of overdrives. It overdrives the tubes, kind of pushes the tubes. Or the lighter you play, the cleaner it is. So as you can see here, this is my favorite amp right now. This is a Kemper amp profiler. This is what I use on almost all my lessons. And the different sounds, you can't really see it there, but the different sounds are called profiles, right? It's basically profiling the sound of a real amp. So the one that I love, and this sound here that you're going to hear, that's a profile of a 1967 Fender Pro Reverb, and the company I believe that I bought this profile from is called Tone Junkies, and they have really fantastic profiles, Kemper profiles on there. Now you might be hearing the reverb. That reverb's actually coming through my computer with a plug-in. It's a universal audio plug-in. So it has a really nice stereo reverb. And I do have some stereo delay going through there. Okay, now if you focus on this is the gain knob. Notice how high that is, right? What I like to do is turn my gain up to where if I really wanted to dig in and hit it hard, it's going to break up and give a sound of overdrive, right? And what that is kind of emulating here is if you had a tube amp and you turn the gain up, it's driving that preamp channel and driving the tubes, and you're hearing the breakup of those tubes. But I love that sound of just that natural breakup of tubes, right? To where, you know, I do have a lot of overdrive pedals, but normally this is all I do with my overdrive is I just turn up the gain knob and find a place to where I can play it softer and it doesn't break up. It just gives me a real nice warm tone. But as I play it harder, then it breaks that up. It's driving that amp. The harder you play it, you know, it's really driving that amp. Now, talking about kind of my setup here, what I love is I love old vintage sounding PAF, meaning the old Gibson patent applied for humbucker pickups. And now these are Seymour Duncan antiquity pickups, but I'm sure I'll change those out to maybe Lindy Fralin or something down the road. But these are cool. They have that old look to them, but they're supposed to be sounding like an old pickup, right? Now, you might say, well, what's the difference? Old, new pickups, what is that? Well, these kind of vintage sounding pickups, they have a lower output a lot of times, meaning you get a little bit more dynamics because the pickup itself isn't necessarily sending a whole ton of signal to the amp, making it break up, right? Whereas with these old kind of sounding pickups, you can adjust your gain, play a little lighter, right? And you get a lot more dynamics with that, as opposed to modern like heavy metal pickups. They're so hot, the pickups are picking up every little thing that you do and just shoving a ton of signal to the amp, making the amp be really gainy and overdrivey. So I don't know the output of these, but like if you get on Lindy Fralin's site, you can get, you know, I think the stock pickups, it'll be a lower output for the neck pickup, right? And then a higher output for the bridge pickup, because the bridge pickup, that'll cause it to break up more. Now, what I like to do is put the pickup selector on the bridge if I'm doing stuff with these lower strings, right? Versus. See how it cleaned it up? And it's also a fatter sound. It's not as as a sharp sound. Right, that's a perfect example of a hotter pickup versus lower output pickup. And also I'm hitting a little bit harder on the bridge pickup. But all this is coming with my hands, right? This isn't pedals, and I do play with a volume pedal, but this is all dynamics control with how hard I'm picking it. So when I'm picking it and I want a real clean sound, if I have the gain turned up this high, I just really pick it soft, right? I'm just barely touching the strings, and it gives me a real fat, warm, clean sound. But if I ever wanted to, I could at any time kick, almost like you're shifting a gear in a car, right? Kick that back to the bridge pickup, and then right? So the other thing I like is, say I didn't want such a harsh sound on the higher strings, right? A lot of times what I'll do is have that bridge pickup for the lower, fat, chunky things. And then when I start going up real high, if you have certain amps, right, and you start hitting the first string way up high, sometimes it's real shrill, and it's like makes your ears bleed. But I like having that neck pickup, this pickup here on the first string. Soften up your attack a little bit, right? And then you have all this dynamic range as you pick soft, and you can make it, right? You can make it break up as you pluck it harder. It's driving that amp more. It makes for such a musical sound. And also it's not as sharp on the ears. And as you play, you can always be changing your dynamics, and it just makes for such a musical way of playing. And I'm not adjusting a pedal. I keep my gain, find a setting. I don't think about it too much. Just something that looks about like there on the Kemper. I think it's normally maybe around 3 or so, it says on the thing. So I'll bring it about right there. So if I find that's breaking up too much, right? If I'm getting too much breakup, even if I'm playing real light on it, then I'll just lower the gain a little bit. But listen to this. Here's what this would sound like with my neck pickup played light. Now with the bridge. Plucked a little bit more. Or plucked a little bit harder with the bridge pickup. And it gives you a totally different sound, a lot more gritty of a sound. And you don't necessarily need a Kemper for this. Keep in mind, this is just emulating the sound of a tube amp, but you just need to understand how to work with the gain on there, or have some sort of a way to have a dynamic kind of overdrive like I'm getting. And here you see a little bit of an EQ on there. I just kind of have it brightened up just a little bit. On here, I can't remember if I mentioned this before, but I do have the reverb off on here. I could turn reverb and I'd have actually two reverbs. The plug-in reverb, Universal Audio plug-in reverb that I have on my computer, which that sounds like this. And I do have a little bit of delay on here. Right? And then if I add another stacked reverb on there. But this is all given kind of, you're hearing it in stereo too, because the Kemper runs out in stereo and I have it hard pan left and right. So it's a bigger sound, right? More of a studio sound. And that's as far as kind of my 2 cents on dynamics and playing with a lightest touch as you can do and as hard as touch as you can do without breaking a string, let's say. And then everywhere in between as you're playing, at any time it's just like talking. You wouldn't always talk at the same level. If you got something you're mad or you got some emotion you want to get out, your voice raises and you have emotion to it. So you can have that with an amp and a lap steel if you have it set right and you understand how to work your pickups. Keep in mind it'll break up more. Higher output bridge pickup, right? Lower output neck pickup will clean it up a little bit, give you a fatter sound, but that bridge pickup gives you a tighter kind of bass. Tighter bass, and then when you start soloing, a lot of times if you're like me, flip that up to the neck pickup and you get a real nice warm sound, not shrill on your higher strings. Okay, well I hope that helps you guys, and we'll see you on the next lesson. Be sure to check out my streaming site for all my other lessons, lwtstreaming.com, and we will see you later. Talk to you later. Bye.